Greetings, brave adventurers, and welcome back to Glory Story Monday. My name is FoxyBard, and I am here to regale you today with some wholesome stories. Now, I did my damnedest to scour the likes of Reddit for glory stories that were also kinda gay. Unfortunately, I didn't really find any. I scrolled all the way back to the beginning of the RPG Glory Stories subreddit, and I didn't see a single one that jumped out at me as being particularly appropriate for Pride. So we're just gonna have some more or less normal glory stories today. They're just gonna be really wholesome and fun and cute, and I know you will all suffer. I'm just kidding. I actually love all three stories I have picked out for today. That's right, today's a triple header, because two of them are quite short. But without more rambling, have a seat around the fire and let's dig into some RPG glory stories. Our first story comes to us from the user FoxyBard98, and it's titled "The Druid Gives the DM a Reason to Continue." It has a really good message that I do want all of you to keep close to your hearts as you go on playing, especially with DMs that you maybe don't know quite as well. It's good, just trust me. Tale start. So this was a couple months ago on a Pathfinder 2e Westmarch server. All but one name has been changed, and even then I don't know their name in real life. We had Ari, a catfolk Amuran druid, and the focus of this story. A human barbarian. A lizardfolk Iruxi summoner, still playtest at the time. A human druid with the tiefling versatile heritage. Backgrounds in Pathfinder 2nd Edition are really, really cool. Look them up. The reason why this race is in quotes is because while mechanically he was human, thanks to his ties to Cerberus, yes, that Cerberus, he resembled more of a shoonie in everything except the face. Ooh, a shoonie in Pathfinder 2nd Edition are essentially little pug people. They're adorable. Please look them up. He even had canine ears. A kobold wizard whose character is both non-binary and adorable. Excellent. And me, the DM. Yes, I'm the DM in this story. This was my first actual story session, as I had only done arena gauntlet-type battles against hordes of monsters. I was excited to see how my players would react and interact with the setting, which was a cave that was necessary for the NPC's survival, as there was a snowstorm outside. But there's a twist. Something, or someone, is hunting them down and killing them, a la Among Us. Sounds kinda sus. I was quickly overwhelmed by my players and lack of experience. I even ended up accidentally revealing the killer. The barbarian began berating me, stating that she almost didn't even want to play in this session. This hurt me out of character because it was my first session and I wanted my players to have fun. I thought I blew my chance at creating a fun session for the denizens of this server. Then Ari tells me to join a voice call in direct messages. I do so, and our conversation went something like this. Okay, Foxy, time to see if you can differentiate between two characters with just voices. Hey there. Hey, I'm sorry for blowing it. You're fine. I'm enjoying this session. You are? Yeah, I think a murder mystery is very interesting, and I'm having fun. But I revealed the killer. Not for long. You can change it. But I don't want to make it seem like a cop-out. I know from experience. DMs are allowed to cop out. When a player finds something out too quickly, feel free to change it. And there's a saying I apply to my daily life all the time. Good artists take inspiration, but great artists steal vigorously. This session was based off of Among Us. Thank you, Ari. From then on, I changed my story and applied some of Ari's tips from our voice call. Sadly, it ended up being cancelled due to player inactivity, but I will never forget what that player said. And I let her bring a kobold NPC she had hit on with her back to the main setting. TLDR, I question my abilities to run a good session for my players, but a catfolk druid won't have any of it and gives me the encouragement and confidence I needed. Tail end. And this brings me to the lesson that I want all of you to take home with you. We always talk about if there's something wrong with the session, you should speak up. But I want to stress that if you're enjoying a session, if you're having a lot of fun, let your DM know. For DMs, that little boost of confidence, that little acknowledgement that their efforts were worth it, can be all the encouragement they need to keep going. I don't think this is something that's talked about enough. If you like your DM, please let them know. Especially if they're new, especially if it's their first time. Ari, you're a hero, and thank you for making this particular DM's life just a little bit better and easier. And you know what? This story is actually more appropriate for Pride than I gave it credit for at the start. Yeah. Let's move on to the next story, though. Our next story comes to us from the user Darth Amaranth, and it's about how a lowly, weak shaman earned her place in the party. It's just a couple of really cute little vignettes of a character that lacked confidence, finding that confidence and that encouragement from her party. Tale start. These two moments happened in one session of the same campaign. Some backstory. I was playing in a party as a heavenly shaman with a ranger, a fighter, and a homebrewed class that is basically Van Helsing. Hey, the vampire hunter class exists in Pathfinder. It's bad, but it's there. We were level 3, I think, and those who played the Pathfinder shaman class know that they are basically useless until level 6 or 7. A little bit. Some of the characters were debating to keep mine in the party due to lack of use, and she was still young. She, overhearing, planned a way for them to see the errors of her ways and how she is an essential asset to the party. She had a fey dragon with whose obvious goal is to pull off the ultimate prank. The fey dragon ended up drugging the party on gnomish ale for them to pass out. I guess it's drugged. I then convinced some passing by rangers, thanks to lucky rolls and one of them being a wood elf, to help with my ruse of them being kidnapped in spiderwebs in the basement, and I alone was able to rescue them. Myself and the rangers made scuffling upstairs to sound like a fight, and went down and rescued them. Once upstairs and not seeing any bodies, they questioned the scenario until I shouted, "They went that way! Quick, we can catch them!" Which, coincidentally, led us to the exact cave we were sent to investigate to begin with. Once in the cave, we all had to make a perception check, which I failed miserably. The Van Helsing character succeeded, stating there was a huge cave spider above us, ready to attack. My character didn't believe him for one moment. She said, "No there isn't, I'll prove it!" Rolled a percentage die to see what random direction I threw the torch. DM then said, in disbelief, "Roll to hit." Nat 20. Roll for damage. Max damage. Stunned, the DM makes a dex roll to see if the spider fell. Nat 1. Rolls for damage. Max damage. KO'd the spider in one hit. In short, there's a spider! I don't believe you, watch! Cave spider falls to its death beside shaman. Oh, I guess there really was a spider. Needless to say, she felt she proved herself fairly well that session. Tail end. See, just a shorty but a goodie. No real lessons here, just a nice fun little cute story about a shaman finding her way and proving herself, even if it was only just to herself. Shaman aren't that I can't really debate that point very well. They get really, really good at high levels though. So there's that, silver linings. Alright, let's move on to the next story. And that brings us to our last story of the day, posted by the user Backward Hand, and titled The Exploits of a Misfit Group in a Curse of Strahd Campaign. There are spoilers for Curse of Strahd in this, so if you're one of the, 2 people who hasn't played it yet, just be aware. Actually, as a confession, my Curse of Strahd group didn't get past, 2 or 3 sessions after the Death House. Yay, scheduling issues. I wanted to end on this one because it's a bit longer and tells of a few really good moments in role-playing, the kind of stuff that we all live for and hope for in our campaigns. So let's dig right in. Tales start. Hello y'all, I just felt like posting something quick about what the group I'm a part of has been up to in the never sunny land of Barovia. We haven't gotten too far yet into the campaign, but so far there is still a few interesting and grand things to tell a tale about. Sorry if this gets a bit long. First, let me introduce the misfits in question. Orda, female high elf, College of Whispers bard. Okeanos, male Triton, Tempest Domain cleric. Crofus, male Dampier, Oath of Conquest paladin and hexblade. Mortis, male human, necromancer wizard. Mr. Bobo, me, male bugbear, celestial warlock. So we begin our story at the Death House. We are getting to know our characters, everyone seems to be getting along. Once we reach the top floor, Mr. Bobo got a strange vibe coming off the suit of armor that was just standing there near the top of the stairs. Ooh, I remember that suit of armor. So he did what any sane and intelligent bugbear would do, and throw a prestidigitated egg at it, which made it start to rustle. In response, he fired off the ever-loved Eldritch Blast! Combat began, and it being a single suit of armor against 5 individuals, we managed to dispatch it in the most superb way possible. Crofus grappled the suit of armor and dragged it towards the railing that was next to the stairs. Me, seeing an opportunity, and Mr. Bobo, rubbing his hands together in anticipation. It was now my turn, and without much thought, I rushed the suit of armor and managed to push it off the railing with the help of the friendly neighborhood Dampier, and the suit of armor fell down 2 floors onto the hard wooden floor below with a big clank. Animated armor was no more, and we felt like $1 million. We managed to get through the Death House relatively alright, aside from Orda, who didn't like going into murky water that was in the basement. Mr. Bobo ended up having to carry her so her dress wouldn't be ruined. After having arrived at the town of Barovia, we met up with Irina and her brother, talking with her and agreeing to escort her the next day to the city of Valaki. We decided to explore the town just a tad. We visited the church, met a creepy fella named Rahadin, and soon left the town of Barovia. Our first meeting with Strahd was just after we passed the windmill. He appeared before us and tried to convince Irina to return to his side, which confused us quite a bit. However, we made a promise to keep Irina safe, and so we didn't allow him to just take her. Okeanos did something only Trevor Belmont would do, and punch Strahd along with casting Thunderwave right in his face. Strahd saved against it and grabbed Okeanos before doing something to him, turning him into a Strahd fanboy, it's what we called it. We had to hold him down and pretend we were on his side in the matter. Thankfully, Strahd didn't take Irina with him, but no doubt he'd return later. Next big exploit, let's just call it an exploit. It was when we arrived at Valaki, being told all the rules of not mentioning Strahd by name, and the obligatory attendance of the festival that was going to occur. We all gave our names, except for Mortis, who was disguised as a black dragonborn. Smart, in hindsight. Once inside the town, I immediately wanted to go to the church. Crofus followed me, and I think Orda followed as well. Mortis and Okeanos decided to explore the town together. At the church, Bobo decided to talk to the priest there. He told Bobo that things haven't been great. The church used to be hallowed ground, but it has been weakened ever since he told the secret of the bones that were supposed to be under the church that provided this holy protection from the undead. He had only told the child Yeska, and he was too afraid to confront him about it. So, Bobo had a plan. The 7-foot, 8-inch tall bugbear decided to have a small chat with the kid, and it went, actually, very well. Bobo used prestidigitation to make small animals in his hands like balloon animals, showing Yeska so many different creatures and making him laugh and smile, something that he hasn't seemed to have done for a long time. Eventually, with some careful talking and a persuasion check with advantage, I managed to get some information from the boy. It felt like a special moment, and I really felt like I was in my character's shoes in that moment. Mortis and Okeanos were walking through the streets, and they spotted a civilian being attacked by someone with a demon-like arm. Okeanos, being a character of justice, rushed the attacker and did a frickin' dropkick to the face. Mortis sprung into action again, now being disguised as a simple peasant, cast mold earth around him to make it difficult for the assailant to chase after him. The civilian managed to escape. Okeanos and Mortis started running, but thanks to Mortis's ability to disguise himself at will, made it easy to avoid the guards that seemed to come out of the houses nearby. Okeanos wasn't very lucky. He got cornered at the top of a roof and was tackled down and arrested, being put in the stocks, all his armor and weapons taken away. It was later we found out the one person he kicked was the guard captain himself, Isaac. Well, crap, we all thought. Skipping ahead, Okeanos managed to get out free, though his armor was nowhere to be gotten, and Mortis sneakily and deceptively managed to take back Okeanos' weapon. Bobo decided it was a great time to be a detective and find out more about where these bones were taken. So we talked with a guy that had dug up the bones, but with a casting of suggestion spell, he was a bit more talkative and told us that someone named Henrik paid him to do so. So that was the next step, to confront this Henrik. The party got together, and we made a full assault towards the place as stealthily as possible. That's not really an assault. Bobo teleporting inside and opening a window for the rest. We captured Henrik, and Mortis, along with Okeanos, broke open a box upstairs containing vampires. Do. That's all you're getting. I'm not singing the whole theme. Thankfully, with some masterful thinking on Orda and Mortis's part, we managed to get everyone out safely, Mortis disguising himself as Rahadin and talking all the vampires down. We then escaped the building and burned it down before running off to the church to interrogate Henrik. He only told us a few things about whom might have taken the bones, but nothing much. We then turned him in to the burgomaster. Skipping ahead, we escaped Valaki after not wanting to deal with the festival. We met up with Casimir the mage, and with him and Irina in tow, we set out west. It was then on the road we once again met up with Strahd. He was there once again to try and take back Irina. This time, Rahadin was with him, along with what seems to be a bargaining tool, Okeanos' armor. In exchange for Irina, he could have his armor back. The best I can summarize the dialogue after his speech was, "You can stick it where the sun don't shine," and combat was initiated. Spells were cast, he used legendary resistances, Bobo used Bane, and he decided to not save against that. Big mistake in hindsight. And Rahadin was then also affected by Crofus's conquering presence. The combat went on. We got some decent hits in, but he seemed to heal it back up at the start of his turn. Rahadin still tried to save against the conquering presence, but he kept failing, and we were also being attacked by swarms of bats. Mortis, for his part, had managed to turn invisible and steal back the armor that was in the cart while all of this was happening. After a certain amount of time, Strahd decided it was enough and threw a letter at Okeanos before turning and leaving to his cart, turning into a bat to do so. However, that led to 5 opportunity attacks, one of them being from our dear pally Crowfus, that just got a critical hit. And as you may know, it is a legal obligation to... okay, I'm gonna try to do the Joe Cat voice. I'm gonna try... SMITE! At a natural 20. So, he put in all he could into that hit, dealing a huge amount of damage to him, making him look pretty beat up. It was then everyone in the party looked at each other and said, "You know what? Fox it!" And we didn't stop attacking him. Rahadin still tried to help in some way by taking control of the cart and steering it away. But Mortis managed to cast Web and restrain Strahd, allowing us to get more shots in. In the end, the final blow was delivered by Orda, who told him what a huge disappointment he was as she cast Dissonant Whispers. Strahd grabbed his head and poofed into mist. Bobo then turned to Rahadin and roared at him to run away or end up like his pathetic master. He looked at all of us and said, "This isn't over!" before running off. We couldn't afford to keep attacking. Everyone was on their last legs, and there was no doubt that Strahd wasn't using his full capacity there. But there we were, standing in the middle of a road, having defeated the Strahd von Zarovich at level 4. We felt amazing, and the DM was dumbfounded. We leveled up after that encounter. Oh, and the letter? It was an invitation to a dinner that is being held for us, and we were invited. We kinda laughed at that. Needless to say that we weren't exactly putting that on our calendar for now. And that's it! Sorry if my writing is incoherent in any parts, I'm not a very good writer, but I hope you enjoyed the stories of our misadventures. I may post more in the future as our sessions progress. Thank you for reading, and have a sunny and non-Barovian day. Tale end. Well, that was fun. Curse of Strahd is always great for a silly little campaign, and who doesn't love vampires and gothic horror, and it's just a good time. I would honestly love to have another shot to play Curse of Strahd myself, because I didn't actually get very far into it with the one group I had that tried it. I also hope that I did Joe Cat proud with my rendition of his signature smite. This was a fun story to go through, and okay, yeah, the lack of punctuation threw me off at a few points, but it was still a great read and a great time. I hope you all enjoyed this story. I don't have some moral or big message here, just Curse of Strahd is fun. Strahd is a great villain, great campaign, and you can do anything at any level if you... Well, okay, no, you can't do anything at any level, but you can always step above your pay grade if you are creative and have a little bit of luck on your side. That will do it for our stories today. Thank you for joining me for another rendition of Glory Story Monday. These videos never do as well as any of the other ones, but I don't care. I love doing them, and I love bringing these kinds of stories to you all. I will prove that positivity can be effective on YouTube, damn it! In that same regard, don't forget to like the video if you liked the video, subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more stories read like this. You can also ring that bell notification icon and it will notify you when I upload a new video, which I don't know if I've ever actually put my schedule into a video. I upload 3 days a week if you hadn't figured that out. On Mondays, we have Glory Story Mondays. Wednesdays are Community Day, where I read only stories from my community, either the comments of my videos or from the FoxyBard Discord server, which you can join from the link in the description below. And then Fridays are your good old-fashioned horror story days. And friend of the channel Crow's Perch is very, very close to 1,000 subscribers if he hasn't hit it already, but go check him out and give him a click. It's worth it. But that will do it for Foxy today. So, let's douse the fire and get back to our own adventures. Hopefully not in Barovia.